Hello students, today we are going to continue with our unit current electricity for class plus 2, and this is our fourth part of this chapter. So in this video we will be doing these mentioned topics. First is heating effect of current. We will be studying about how heat is produced, what the formula is there for it, and we will be solving a numerical on this also. And our second topic that we will be looking into is cells in series and parallel. So we will be understanding what will be the net EMF of number of cells connected in series and when they are connected in parallel in different configurations. So now let's start. So our topic is heating effect of current. See, it is quite clear, as current passes through a resistor, there occurs the number of collisions. Those collisions, they are trying to stop the flow of electrons. But due to the presence of some electric field or some force that is pulling those electrons, the electrons are bounded to move from one point to another point. That means electrons are moving in spite of those collisions. Now what happens when an electron collides? See, collision always produces some thermal energy. That means when electrons, they are colliding with each other, some heat is produced. That heat in turn heats the conductor or heats the body through which that current is flowing. So heat is produced due to collision of electrons. So what is the cause of heating effect of current? So cause is heat is produced due to collisions. So when electrons, they are moving in a body, there occurs number of collisions, and those collisions are reason for heating effect of that heating effect produced in that body. Now the point is, what is the amount of this heat that is produced? Fine. Now when an electron is moving, the reason why it is moving is because it has some energy. Fine. We have already studied in the topic of potentials that there is some work that is making these electrons to move. Fine. So that work which is making these electrons to move is ultimately converted into heat. According to conservation of energy, the heat cannot be produced from anywhere because energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. So there must be a source of that heat produced. Now that source of heat produced is work done to move those electrons. Fine. So what is the source of that heat produced? So I would be writing source of heat. Source of heat is work done to move charge. So the work done is ultimately converted into heat in that circuit. So cause is of course collisions and source of heat is work done. Now moving to the formula for potential, we have already done. Electric potential is equal to work done per unit charge. So from here we can get the value of this work done. So this work done would be equal to V into Q, right? So this work done is converted into heat. So this work done is source of heat. So this is converted into heat. So heat is not produced from anywhere. It is actually converted from some other energy, and that is work done. So work done is getting converted into heat. So I can write heat is equal to V into Q, voltage into charge. Now further I know that current is flow of charge per unit time. So from here I can write charge is equal to product of current and time. So I can also write heat is equal to VIT. So this is the formula for heat produced. Heat is equal to VI into T. So further we can write this formula in number of another forms. Like I can write, here we have heat is equal to VIT. If I substitute the value of V from Ohm's law, what is value of V from Ohm's law? It is equal to IR. Fine. So what I will be getting? I will be getting I square RT. So heat is equal to I square RT. This is the same formula that we did in class 10th under the heading of Joule's law of heating. Fine. So heat can also be written equal to I square RT. It can be written VIT. Another formula that I can get from here is, if I replace the value of I, so from Ohm's law I can write, so if I replace the value of current with V by R, So current will be equal to V by R. So if I replace the value of I here with V by R, so what will be the formula for heat? So another formula for heat will be equal to V by R in place of current into T. So it would be V square by R into T. So in this way we can get a number of formulas. So the formulas that we have got are heat is equal to VIT. Another is heat is equal to I square RT. Similarly, you can write heat is equal to V square by R into T. So you can use these formulas to solve the numericals according to the given situation. Any of these formula can be used. So this is the formulas for heat produced. Apart from that, if we have got heat in the circuit, we can also calculate power, because what is power? Power is work done per unit time. So as we know, power is work done per unit time. Work, we are writing it equal to heat. So our power would be equal to, dividing this equation by T, so it would be V into I. Similarly, you can write it equal to I square R. Fine. Similarly, power can be written equal to V square by R, cancelling T in all the equations. So in this way you can also calculate power. Having done these formulas, we will be proceeding to a numerical, that how we can calculate the heat produced in a particular resistance. So let's do a numerical. So here is our numerical. Here we are given a circuit with the number of resistors connected to a potential source of 20 volt, and we are asked to calculate the heat produced across each resistor. So we will have to find heat across all these resistors. Now to do that, firstly I will be calculating the net resistance of these two. So what will be their equivalent resistance? It will be equal to 1 by 6 plus 1 by 3, 1 plus 2. So it will be 3 by 6. So our net resistance would be equal to 2 ohm. So net resistance in place of these two resistors, we can apply a resistor of 2 ohm. So I will be redrawing this circuit diagram. So our circuit diagram will now look like this. This is 2 ohm. Here you have 5 ohm resistor, and then you have battery of 20 volt. So now our circuit diagram will look like this. Now we can easily calculate the current passing through this entire circuit. Now what is the total resistance of this circuit? The total resistance of this circuit will be, as all these three are connected in series, so it will be simply 3 plus 2 plus 5, that is equal to 10 ohm. So if net resistance is 10 ohm, voltage is 20 volt, so what is the current that is passing through this entire circuit? So it would be I is equal to V by R. V is 20, R is 10. So net current passing through this circuit is 2 ampere. Firstly, I will be calculating the potential across this resistor. Let it be V. So what will be the potential across this resistor? This will be equal to I into R. So the potential across this resistor will be equals to current, that is 2 ampere, into resistance of this resistor is 2. So potential across this resistor is 4 volt, that we have got. Fine. So resistor potential across this will also be 4, and potential across this will also be 4, because in parallel potential remains same. Right. So I have calculated potential across this 2 ohm resistor. So this will be the potential across this and across this. So now I am ready to apply the formulas. Firstly, I will be calculating the heat produced in this resistor. So heat produced in first resistor, I am naming them as first, second, third and fourth resistor. So I am calculating the heat produced in first resistor. Fine. So the current passing through first resistor is of course 2 ampere, that we have already calculated. So I will be using formula I square R into T. Another thing that is given in this question is time. So we have to calculate the heat across this resistor in 2 seconds. That is also given to us. Fine. So heat across first would be I square R into T. The value of I is of course 2. This current will pass through this resistor. Resistance of this resistor is 3 and time is 2 seconds. So it will be 4 into 3 into 2. So we can write 24 joule of heat will be produced in this resistor. So I would be writing it over here. So 24 joule is the heat produced in first resistor. So next we will be calculating heat across this 6 ohm resistor, that is resistor number 2. So heat across resistor number 2 would be equal to, so now here I cannot apply the formula for I square RT, fine, because the current 2 ampere, it is passing through these two resistors. That means current is getting divided. So here I can do two things. Either I have to calculate the current passing through this, fine, so then I can apply the formula for I square RT. Otherwise what I can do is I can simply apply the formula V square by R into T, fine. So heat across this resistor, that is heat 2, it will be equal to voltage. Voltage is 4, that we have already calculated. Voltage across this is 4, across this is also 4. So it will be square of 4. Resistance of this resistor is 6. Time is of course 2. So it will be 16 by 6 2 or 32 by 6 joule. You can simplify it. So it will be 16 by 3 joule. So 16 by 3 joule is the heat produced in resistor number 2 of resistance 6 ohm. So next proceeding to calculate the heat produced in resistor number 3, whose resistance is 3 ohm. So here also I will be using the same formula. So heat produced in third resistor, it will be again V square by R into T. Voltage is of course 4. Resistance over here is 3. Time is of course 2. And it will be equal to 16 by 3 into 2. So 32 by 3 joule is the answer for heat produced in this 3 ohm resistor. So it will be 32 by 3 joule. Now coming to resistor number 4 of 5 ohm. See, this is also a single resistor in series. So we can simply apply the formula for I square RT, because current will be passing, the entire current will be passing through this resistor. So to calculate heat through fourth resistor, I will again be applying the formula I square RT. Right? So current passing would be equal to 2. Resistance of this resistor is 5. Time is 2. So it will be 4 into 5 into 2. So 40 joule would be our answer. So in this way we have calculated the heat produced in all these resistors. See, from these calculations it is clear that when a resistor, it is in series, the entire current is passing through it, we can simply apply the formula for I square RT, fine. And if two resistors, they are in parallel, they will be having the same voltage, they will be at same potentials, so we can apply the formula V square by R into T. So that are the simple methods to calculate the heat produced. And here is our question number 2 over here. We are given a circuit diagram with two batteries which are connected in out of order, and they are connected with the external resistor of resistance 3 ohm, and we are asked to calculate the power supplied by 10 volt battery, power consumed by 4 volt battery, and power dissipated in 3 ohm resistor. So when two batteries, they are connected in out of order, the battery with higher voltage source will be the power provider, and the battery with lower voltage or with the lower potential, it will be the power consumer, fine. So firstly I will be calculating the net potential of this circuit. As two are connected in out of order, the net potential would be equal to 10 minus 4, that is equal to 6 volt, right? And due to this 6 volt, the current will flow in this direction, as this battery is of higher potential. So net potential is 6 volt. So first is power supplied by 10 volt battery. So its first part is power supplied. The formula for power is V into I. See here, although the net potential is 6 volt, but the battery whose potential is 10 volt, that is this battery, it is providing some power. Although that net power provided is somehow to some extent countered or pacified by another battery which is connected in out of order, but it is providing the power. Its original voltage across the and current passing through this circuit. So what would be the current passing through this circuit? The net voltage is 6 volt, and we can calculate the amount of current that would be equal to V by R. Net voltage is 6 and net resistance over here is 3. So current is 2 ampere. So net power that it is providing is 20 watt. SI unit of power is of course watt. And second is, what is power consumed by 4 volt battery? So the power which it is consuming would be equal to its potential, that is 4 into current. So it would be 8 watt. So 8 watt is power that is being consumed by this battery. 20 watt is total power that is produced, and out of that 8 watt is the power which is consumed by this battery. So net power that is actually here in this circuit will be equal to 20 minus 8, fine, that is equal to 12 watt. Now you have to calculate the power that is dissipated in 3 ohm resistor. So the power that is dissipated in 3 ohm resistor, the formula for power is of course I square R. The entire current of 2 ampere it is passing through this resistor. Its resistance is 3 ohm. So you can easily calculate the power, and that would be equal to I square R. Current is of course square of 2, it will be R is 3, so it will be 4 into 3, that is equal to 12. Fine. So from here also you can get it that the power, total power produced is 20 watt. Out of that 8 watt is consumed by this battery. So the power that is left is of course 12 watt. And if we calculate the power by this method, it would be coming equal to 12 watt. So the power which is dissipated through this resistor would be equal to 12 watt. Next we will be proceeding to our next topic, that is grouping of cells together. So we will be doing 2 groupings. One is series grouping of cells, second will be parallel grouping. So first moving to series grouping of cells. Here I have drawn a diagram in which you have connected n batteries in a circuit. EMF of each battery is E and internal resistance of each is R, and this entire n batteries, they are connected with the external resistor whose resistance is R ohm. So we have to calculate the net current that will be passing through this circuit. So to do that, I know the value of current would be equal to net EMF of this circuit divided by total resistance of this circuit. So as it is clear from this diagram, they are connected in order. See, negative of one is connected with positive of another, and so on. So as they are connected in order, so their net EMF will get added up. So net EMF would be equal to N into E, where N is number of batteries or cells connected in series and E is EMF of each cell. And what will be the net resistance or total resistance? So total resistance would be equal to the total internal resistance plus this external resistance. As all these resistors, they are connected in series, the net internal resistance would be equal to total internal resistance plus external resistance. So total resistance for this circuit will be equal to total internal resistance plus total external resistance. So what is total internal resistance? So I would be writing total resistance. It will be equal to total internal resistance. There are n cells, each have internal resistance small r. So net internal resistance would be equal to n into small r, because in series the resistance gets added up. So it will be n into small r is total internal resistance, and this total internal resistance is connected in series with this external resistance. So it will be added over here. So our total resistance for this circuit will be NR plus capital R. Fine. So now I will be writing these two values of total EMF and total resistance in the formula for current. So I will get current is equal to total EMF, that is NE, over total resistance, that is NR plus R. So this is our formula for current flowing in the series combination of cells. So from this formula we can write a special case that will be like this. So the special case would be, so first I will be considering the total internal resistance of this circuit as very small. Let these resistances are very small resistances. So if these are very small, so when you are going to add these up, your resultant will also be small value. So when first case is when total internal resistance is very small. So when total internal resistance is very small as compared to external resistance, that is also important to write over here, as compared to external resistance, or you can say that the total internal resistance is very smaller as compared to external resistance. So in this case our formula for current will be equals to NE over, so NR plus R. So this n into small r is very small as compared to this capital R, so it can be neglected. So I can simply write it as R. Fine. So if I am simply writing it as R, so what it will be? E by R. So our total current will be N times the EMF of each cell divided by R. That means our total current has increased manifold. It has increased N times. So our total current would be N times the current produced by one cell, and that is evident from this formula. Fine. So our current will increase N times if we are considering internal resistance of each cell as very small value. And our second special case is when we are considering that internal resistance of all these cells are very large as compared to external resistance. That means these internal resistance are quite large as compared to external resistance. That means second special case will be when NR is quite greater than external resistance. That means external resistance is very small. So in that case our current would be equals to NE. So here NR plus R. Now this NR is quite large as compared to external resistance, so external resistance can be neglected. If we are going to neglect it, we will be left with this. N and N will get cancelled, so it will be equal to E by R. So total current would be equal to E by R. As N has been cancelled, this means the total current would be very small. It will be approximately equal to the current produced by one cell only. Fine. EMF divided by its resistance will be the current that will be passing in one cell only. So in this way current will be very low when we are considering external resistance as very small. So So in this way we have done these two parts, these two special cases. So from these special cases, what we have got as a result is we have come to a conclusion that when number of resistors they are connected in series, if their internal resistances are very small as compared to external resistance, then the current flowing through that circuit will increase n times as compared to the current produced by one cell. But if external resistance is smaller and internal resistance is very large, if internal resistance is very large, then the current will decrease, and that current will be simply equal to the current produced by single cell. Fine. So the current will decrease if internal resistance of each cell is large, current will increase if internal resistance of cells are smaller. These are the points which you need to keep in your mind in case of series connections of cells. Next we will be proceeding towards grouping of cells in parallel. So in parallel connections we will be doing three different cases. So our first case is, I will be writing it as case A. So our first case is when we have connected number of cells in parallel, EMF of each cell is E, that means all of them have equal EMFs and equal internal resistance, and positive of each are connected together and negatives are connected together. So the circuit will look like this. So here is our first case. In this case we are given n cells, all are connected in parallel. EMF of each cell is E and internal resistance of each cell is R, and positives of all are connected together and negatives of all are again connected together. So this is our first case. Here we will have to calculate the current that will be passing through the circuit. So now as n cells each of EMF E they are connected in parallel, we know EMF in parallel remains same. Fine. So what will be the net EMF of this circuit? The net EMF will of course be equal to E, because all these n cells they are connected in parallel with each other. So when they are connected in parallel, their net EMF will still remain E. I will be writing net EMF of this circuit would be equal to E. And what will be the net resistance? Net resistance. So to calculate net resistance, firstly I will be calculating the net internal resistance. So now these n cells each of internal resistance R, they are connected in parallel. So their net resistance, that is internal net resistance, it would be equal to 1 by R plus 1 by R up to n times. Fine. So I can write R as LCM. So 1, 1, 1 up to n times, it will be n by R. So 1 by net internal resistance is equal to NR. So net internal resistance is equal to R by N. So this is the net internal resistance across these n cells. Now this n internal resistance is connected in series with this external resistance. Fine. So the net resistance of these cells is equal to R by N, and this resistance is connected in series with this resistance of R. So what will be the net resistance of circuit? It will be equal to internal resistance plus external resistance as they are in series. So our answer would be R by N plus R, which is the external resistance. So we have got net EMF as E and net resistance as R by N plus capital R, that is external resistance. So I can write the formula for current now. Current is net EMF divided by total resistance. So net EMF is of course E and total resistance is this. So I would be writing it as plus R. So this is our formula for current flowing through such circuits. So in this part also we will be doing a special case as we have done in series connections. as our formula for current is I is equal to E by R over N plus R. So our case 1 would be if internal resistance is very small. Fine. If internal resistance is very small as compared to external resistance. So what is internal resistance? Internal resistance is R by N. So if R by N is very smaller as compared to external resistance, then what would happen? The current would be equal to E by R. This will get neglected. Fine. So this is basically the current due to one cell only. And our case 2 would be if external resistance is very small as compared to internal resistance, that is if R by N is very greater than R. So now if this happens, what will be the formula for current? It would be equal to E by R will be neglected, it will be R by N. So this N will get multiplied with E, and we will be left with the formula for current equal to NE divided by R. So that is N times E by R. That means current will increase N times. So from these two parts, it is clear that if internal resistance is small, very small as compared to external resistance, thus current will be flowing very low. But if internal resistance is very large as compared to external resistance, the current will increase N times as compared to current due to one cell. So till now what we have studied is that when we have resistors connected in series, what we saw over there, if internal resistance was very small, the current flowing through the circuit was very large. Fine. And if internal resistance was large, the current flowing was very small. But what we have studied over here is just opposite to the case of series. Here we have studied that if internal resistance is very large, the current will be larger. But if internal resistance is smaller, the current will be lesser. So the cases which we have obtained in series and in parallel, especially in this case 1, are totally opposite to each other. So from these discussions, what you can say, if you are given cells of very small internal resistance and you are asked to get maximum current from those, fine. So the cells that you are given have very small internal resistance and you are asked to get maximum current from it. That means you will be connecting them in series. But if you are given number of cells with the very large internal resistance and you are asked to extract maximum current from it, so you will be connecting them in parallel. So this point I am going to write it over here. So the important point that you must keep in your mind is, if you have n cells of very small internal resistance as compared to external resistance and you want to extract maximum current from their combination, then you must connect them in series. Fine. So you have n cells of very small internal resistance as compared to external resistance and you want maximum amount of current from their interconnection, you must connect them in series. But if you are given n cells of very large internal resistance and you want to extract maximum current from this combination, you should connect them in parallel. So these are the two important points, those you must keep in your mind. So here is our case number 2 or case B. Here we have a different number of cells connected in parallel again, but the difference over here is that the EMF of each cell is different. Like here you have a cell of EMF E1, internal resistance R1, and the second you have a cell of EMF E2, internal resistance R2, and so on. So the EMFs and internal resistance of these cells are different, and we want to calculate the total current. See, what we have got in our first case was current was equal to E by total resistance, that is resistance due to internal resistors plus external resistance, that is R. This was the formula that we got from our previous combination of parallel, but at that point the EMFs were equal and internal resistance, they were also equal. So to solve or to calculate the current in this case, what we are going to do is, let the current flowing from this cell is I1 and let the current flowing this is I2 and the current flowing through this cell is I3. So this total current will reach this point and this current will get added up and that current will flow in this direction, and let that current is I. Fine. So I am writing I is equal to sum of all these three currents. So I is equal to I1 plus I2 plus I3. Now what I will be doing is, I will be applying Kirchhoff's law over here. To apply Kirchhoff's law, I will be naming these A, B, C, D, E, F. So now I will be applying Kirchhoff's law in these different closed loop. So firstly I will be applying the Kirchhoff's rule in loop A, B, C, D, E, F, A. So applying Kirchhoff's rule in loop, the closed loop that I will be taking is A, B, C, D, E, F, A. So in this closed loop, if I apply Kirchhoff's rule, what will be the equation? So starting from this point or starting from A, our current I is flowing in this direction, and here what are we going to get is external resistance. So here are the positive terminals, that means this will be at higher potential, this will be at lower potential. So I am basically moving from high potential to low potential. So I will be taking negative sign over here. I hope these things are clear sign conventions. So minus, if you have any problem in these sign conventions that why I am taking negative, you must watch the previous video in which I have explained the sign conventions, how we are going to take them. So we are basically moving from higher potential to lower potential, that is why I am taking negative sign over here. So what is potential drop over here? It will be equal to I into R. So next I am moving in this part, here there is no resistance, and then I reaches this resistor of resistance R1. So here there will be a lower potential because it is connected to negative terminal, and this side will have higher potential. That means I am moving from higher potential to lower potential again. So when you are moving from higher to lower, again you will be putting negative sign, the current that is flowing is, but one thing is very clear that you must keep in mind, I current will flow till this point. Again at this point, I1 will move in this direction, I2 will move in this direction, and I3 will move in this direction. That means the current which is passing through this resistor of resistance R1 would be equal to I1. So I1 into the internal resistance, that is R1, and then I counters this battery. I counter negative terminal, that means this is low potential, this is high potential. So I am basically moving from low potential to high potential of battery. So I will be putting positive sign over here, and EMF of this cell is E1. So this entire value is equal to 0. So this is the equation that we are going to get from Kirchhoff's law. From this equation, what I am going to do is I will be calculating the value of I1. So I would be writing it as minus IR plus E1 is equal to I1 R1, or I can write the value of I1 equals to minus IR by R1 plus E1 by R1. So this is the value that we will get for I1 current. So if this is the value for I1, similarly you can get the values of I2, I3 and up to IN, and those values will be, the value of I2 would be equals to minus IR by R2 plus E2 by R2. Fine. In the similar manner, the value for IN that you will be receiving for nth battery would be equal to IR over Rn plus En by Rn. So in this way you are going to get these equations for currents in different branches, currents from different cells or batteries. So next what we are going to do is we will be adding all these values. See what will be the total current? The total current will be the addition of this entire currents. So next I am going to, so I will be writing it as I1 plus I2 up to IN, and this would be equal to addition of all these values. So it would be minus IR by R1 plus, so firstly I will be writing all these values with minus IR by R. So from second it will be minus IR by R2 minus IR by R3 up to Rn. Fine. So these values will go up to IR by Rn. Fine. So next I will be adding these values together, plus E1 by R1 plus E2 by R2 up to, these will be going up to En by Rn. So what is total current? Current coming from first cell is I1, coming from second cell is I2 up to In. So total current is I. So I will be replacing this value by I. So total current is equal to summation of this all. Now from these values I can keep minus IR common. So what I will be left with? I will be left with 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus, because I have already taken negative signs common over here, 1 by R3 up to 1 by Rn. Fine. So plus these values will remain as it is, E1 R1 E2 R2 up to En Rn. So next what we can do is, in place of these addition of all these terms, I can write summation of 1 by R. Summation of 1 by R means firstly 1 by R1 will be written, plus sign then it will come, then the plus sign will come, plus 1 by R2. So this is the short form of writing this entire addition. So instead of this all values I am writing summation of 1 by R's, summation of all 1 by R's, right, plus summation of all E by R's. That means E1 by R1 would be added into E2 by R2, it would be again added into E3 into E3 by R3. So in this way, instead of this a lengthy equation, I can write the equation in form of summations like this. So this is our formula. So from this formula now I will be calculating the current. So here I have current, here also I have current. So I will be taking this value to this side. So what I will get, I plus IR summation of 1 by R is equal to summation of E by R. So from here what I am going to get is, I will keep I common from these two equations and I will be left with 1 plus R summation 1 by R is equal to summation E by R. So from here our value of current would come equal to summation of E by R over this entire value 1 plus R summation of 1 by R. So this is the value that we are going to get. Now what I am going to do is, I will compare this equation with this equation. This is the equation that we got from parallel connections when each battery had EMF E and internal resistance R. So at that time the current was equal to this value. So there the value of current was this, but now the value of current is this. Now we will be comparing these two equations. Here you have EMF, you have somewhat EMF over here, but with internal resistance. But in the denominator you had sum of internal resistance plus external resistance, fine. But here we have 1 plus some value. So to make this equation comparable with this equation, what I am going to do is I will be dividing this equation by summation of 1 by R. So if I am doing that, I will be dividing it over here also, summation of 1 by R, and dividing over here also summation of 1 by R. So here summation of 1 by R and summation of 1 by R will get cancelled. So our current would be equal to summation of E by R over summation of I by R divided by 1 over summation of 1 by R plus R. Now you can easily compare this formula with this. See, instead of EMF, what you are going to get is summation of E by R divided by summation of 1 by R, and in place of internal resistance you have 1 by summation of 1 by R, that is internal resistance, plus external resistance that you have over here. So this is your external resistance. Now you can compare these two equations. From these equations you have got that external resistance is of course R, it is R over here. Internal resistance in that case was equal to R by N, but now the internal resistance would be equal to 1 by summation of 1 by R, fine. And the total EMF was E, but now the total EMF will be equal to this value, right? So from these discussions what we have got, that in such circuits when EMFs are different and internal resistances are different and the cells are connected in parallel, what would be the net EMF? It will not be equal to E. Now it will be equal to this value. It would be equal to summation of E by R over summation of 1 by R. This will be the value of net EMF now. And what will be the value of net internal resistance? Now the net internal resistance would be equal to this value, 1 by summation of 1 by R. External resistances of course are, it cannot change. So the what is the value of total resistance? It is this value, R plus this. So in this way you get these two very important results. So this is our case number 2 for connection of different cells in parallel. See, even if you want to prove that this entire equation is correct, what you can do is, see, what we started with was we took different batteries of different EMFs, E1, E2, E3 and so on, and they had different internal resistances like R1, R2 and so on. So to check whether your answer or your equation for current is correct or not, let us suppose that the EMF of each battery is made equal to E and internal resistance is again made equal to R. So if you want to check it, let E1, E2 and so on is equal to E. That means you have made EMFs equal and internal resistances are also equal. So in that case, what would be the value of current? N into E by R, because all E's are equal, divided by summation of 1 by R. So that would be equal to 1 by R plus 1 by R, because we don't need to take 1 by R1, 1 by R2. So it will be simply 1 by R plus 1 by R plus 1 by R. So it will be N by R over 1 by summation of 1 by R. So it would be again equal to N by R plus R would remain as it is. Fine. So now if you are going to solve this equation, what you are going to get is it will be equal to NE by R. This will get cancelled. So in the denominator we have R by N plus R. So our current would be equal to E by R by N plus R. So this is exactly the same formula that we have derived in case number 1 when EMFs were equal or internal resistances were also equal. So this is our second case when we have different batteries of different EMFs and different internal resistances. So these two formulas you must keep in your mind, and of course this formula is also important in that case. So next we will be proceeding to our case number 3, same in parallel combinations only. So our third case would be here is our case number C. In this case we have 3 cells as it is shown in this diagram. We can have n cells connected in parallel, but out of those, here as I have taken one cell of EMF E2 and internal resistance R2 connected in opposite order. See, positive, they are connected together, but for second cell, negative terminal is connected to positive terminals. So basically this cell, we have reversed the direction of this cell. So when we have any question like this, we will again be following the same method. We will be using Kirchhoff's rules to get our desired results. So let's check out how we can do that. So to apply Kirchhoff's rule, I will be naming this circuit as A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H and A. And I will be applying Kirchhoff's rule in loop A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, A. So I am using this loop. So in this loop, if I am starting from point A, so what I will be writing, so firstly I will be countering this external resistance of R. So let current coming from this arm is I1, current coming from this arm is I2, and let the current coming from this arm is I3. So for first arm, what I am going to write is I1 current is flowing this direction, but here the total current will become summation of all the currents, that is I. So now I current will flow in this arm. So here I get this resistor whose resistance is R, external resistance. So I am basically moving from high potential to low potential. See, only one cell is connected in opposite order. Still other cells, they are connected in same order. Positives of all these cells and cells, they are connected to this terminal. So here I will have high potential, here I will have low potential. So what I will be writing, so I am moving from high potential to low potential for this case. So what I will be writing, minus I is the current that is coming into R. Then I am going to counter this internal resistance, but still I will be moving from high potential to low potential. So again I will be putting negative sign. The current that will flow in this circuit and this arm will be I1. So I1 into internal resistance over here is R1, and then I am going to counter this battery negative terminal, that is I am moving from negative terminal to positive terminal, that is lower potential to higher potential. So I will be putting positive sign over here, plus EMF of this battery is of course E1, and that is equal to 0. So this is the equation that we are going to get from our first loop. Now from this equation we can calculate the value of I1, and this I1 would be equal to minus IR divided by R1 plus E1 divided by R1. So this is the formula that we will get for I1 current. So I1 is equal to minus I into capital R divided by R1 plus E1 by R1. Now we will be applying Kirchhoff's rule in loop B, C, D, E, F, G, B. So this central arm in which the battery is connected in opposite order. So our loop now will remain as B, C, D, E, F, G, B. So to start with this loop, one thing that you must keep in your mind is that now we are taking this circuit in which the cell is connected in opposite order. Now you may say that here the negative terminal is connected over here, so here the potential should be low and here it should be high, because positive is connected over here, so here it should be high, here it should be low. But no, it is not the case. Why? Because if we have 10 cells, out of those 10 cells, if one cell is connected in opposite order, the direction of flow of current or the direction of potential, it will be decided by those 9 cells, not that single cell which is in opposite order, until and unless the EMF of that single cell is greater than the sum of all other 9 cells. Until that is the case, until and unless that is the case, the direction of current and potentials, it will be decided by the 9 cells which are in one direction, not that single cell which is in opposite direction. Fine. So therefore, although this cell is in opposite direction, it is connected in opposite order, but still the potentials, they will be according to the net circuit, according to the other cells which are all connected in one order. Like here, it will remain high and it will remain low over here. Similarly, for this resistor also, this point will remain high and this point will remain low. I hope this is clear. So here you should not write that here you have positive plate, you should put H over here and L over here. No, that is not the case, because the direction of current as well as potentials, it will be decided by the net effect. So net will be decided by those 9, not that single one. Fine. So now I will be applying Kirchhoff's rule in this circuit B, C, D, E, F, G, B. Now in this loop, what I will be writing, so starting from point B, I am countering this resistor, but I am moving again from high to low, so I will be putting negative sign over here. Current is I and resistance over here is R, and then I am going from G to this point. So again I am moving from high to low potential, so I will be putting negative sign over here. So but now our current is I2 over here, so it would be I2 into this resistance is R2. So I2 into R2. Then I am countering this battery. So when I am countering this battery, I am moving from positive terminal to negative terminal. That means again from high potential to low potential. I am moving from positive terminal to negative terminal. So it will be negative over here again minus E2. So this entire value is equal to 0. So from here, if I get the value of I2, this will be equal to I2 R2 would be equal to this, and I2 would be equal to minus IR by R2 minus E2 by R2. So this will be the value of I2 in the loop in which cell is connected in opposite order. Now similarly, if you want to calculate the current that is passing in this circuit in the third arm, so the current in this arm will resembles to the current in this arm because both of them are connected in same order. So I can write the current in third arm, that would be equal to minus IR by R3. Like here the sign is positive, so I will be putting positive. EMF over here is E3 by R3. So this will be the formula for current that is passing through this circuit. So I have taken sign similar to this case because both of them are in same order. So these are our three equations for current in first, current in second and current in third. So you can clearly see the difference. Here we have negative positive, but here we have both negative values. So that is the difference that will come in the derivation. So next, what we are supposed to do is we will be adding these three values. So when we are going to add these values, we will get I1 plus I2 plus I3. This will be equals to, so I am adding these three values, so it will be minus IR over R1. Again over here I have minus IR by R2 minus IR over R3. Then I have E1 by R1, but here I have minus E2 by R2. Here again I have positive E3 by R3. Fine. So this will be the summation of I1, I2 and I3 will be equals to total current, let it be I, as we have taken in the circuit diagram. So from here I can take minus I into R common. So I will be left with 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3. But from here I cannot take that common value, because E1, E2, E3, similarly R1, R2, R3, these all are a different value. So we cannot take common from here. So I will be writing it as it is, plus E1 over R1 minus E2 over R2 plus E3 over R3. So I will be writing these values as it is. Now here we have I, here also we have I. So to get the value of I will be taking this value to this side. So what I will be writing is I, this is minus over here, when we take it to this side it will become positive, IR into this entire value. This is equal to this value E1 by R1 minus E2 by R2 plus E3 by R3. So from here I can take I common. So what I will be left with 1 plus R, 1 by R1, 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3. This is equal to this value. Fine. So to get the value of I, E1 by R1 minus E2 by R2 plus E3 by R3, this will go in denominator, this value, divide by 1 plus R, 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3 and so on. So this will go in denominator. So this will be the value of current. But again, if we want to compare it with the value that we got in case A, in that case the R value was equal to E by R over N plus R, where R is external resistance, R by N was total internal resistance. Fine. But here we don't have anything like that. So we don't have separate internal resistance and separate external resistance. To get this value in correspondence with this value, or to compare these values, we have to do bit changes. So what I will be doing is, for this value, what I will be writing is, I will be dividing this entire right hand side by this value, 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3. So if I do that, I will be left with E1 by R1 minus E2 by R2 plus E3 by R3. This value I am dividing it by 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3. Similarly, in denominator, I am dividing these two values by 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2. So what I will be getting? 1 by 1 divided by this value, 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3 plus R So when I am dividing it with this and this will get cancelled. So what will be the value of current? The value of current would be this will be our net EMF. So this will be our net EMF divided by this plus R. So now this value will be our net internal resistance. This is of course our external resistance, and this is our net EMF. Now this is our net EMF. Now we can easily compare this equation with this. So this entire is our net EMF. Here is our external resistance R. So this was total internal resistance. Now in this case, our total internal resistance would be equal to this value. In this way, this is our formula which we get when we have a cell which is connected in opposite order. Fine. All other cells, they were connected in one order in parallel, but only one cell, it was connected in opposite order. Similarly, if you are given more than one cells connected in opposite order, you can apply this formula over there also. So here the cell which was in opposite order, for that cell the sign over here is negative. Fine. So if you have more than one cells in opposite order, the signs will again come negative over there, and you can calculate the value of current. That's it for our parallel combinations of cell. In this way we have done 3 cases of parallel combination. So our first case was when all cells, they were connected in such a way that positives of all were connected together and negatives were connected together, and they all had equal EMFs and equal internal resistance. Fine. In that case, our formula came out to be this for current. In second case, we did the method of parallel combination, in which different cells have different EMFs and different internal resistance. And this is our third case, in which we have taken all cells connected positive to positive, but only one cell which was taken in opposite order, whose negative was actually connected to positives of other. So in that case, this is the difference. This is the only difference, negative sign in front of its EMF. I will be giving you some numericals based on these formulas, and you can apply these formulas easily, and you can calculate the questions, different questions in which number of batteries are applied in series or in parallel. That's it for today's video. Thank you.